the birthday party, but as you know, it's not going to be just celebrating my birthday. It's going to be biblical. Right? We're going to talk about the only birthday mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, explicitly mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. And as you can see, it's already on screen. The only birthday that is mentioned in the Bible is that of Pharaoh. And when people want to kind of belittle the concept of birthday, they sometimes quote or they sometimes mention the fact that the only one who had a birthday in the Bible is Pharaoh. And let's read the verse. We'll talk a little bit about the concept of a birthday in the Hebrew Bible. We also have a birthday in the New Testament, which again is not much better. Okay, we'll mention that as well. But let's start with this. Susanna, would you like to read?
I would like to give an attempt.
Go ahead.
Vayehi bayom hashlishi yom huledat et
Huledet.
huledet et Pharaoh vayaas mishteh leva
Lechol.
oh yeah lecho avadai dav vayisha et rosh shar
Sar. Vayisa et rosh sar.
vayisa et
Note
rosh
placement of the dot above the left-hand side, hence sin in both Vayisa and Sar. Should be said that in Akkadian, the word equivalent to the word Sar is actually the word Shar, which in Akkadian has a slightly different flavor. It means a king, not a minister or a prince or a chief. So note that in all of these cases, we have the left-hand side, the dot above the left-hand side, hence Vayas, Vayisa, and Sar Hamashkim. Go ahead.
vayisa et rosh sar hama hamashkim vaet rosh sar haofim betoch avadav.
Avadav. Right.
That's what I need to read. Thus it came about on the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and the head of the chief baker among his servants.
Right. So, as we said, that's the only birthday party in the Bible. We do have the mentioning of birthday in the very literal sense, okay? The day of one's birth, as the book of Ecclesiastes says, the day of death is better than the day of one's being born. Yom Hamavet, day of death, miyom hivaledo, better than or than the day in which one is born. And we have it elsewhere, not very common, but here is the only case where we have a birthday party. Note the word mishteh, which literally means drinking, but contextually means a party. Okay, mishteh related to the root shintav yod that has to do with drinking, but contextually meaning a feast or a celebration. Not yet in the legal sense of it. That would come in the book of Esther. We've talked about late biblical Hebrew in the book of Esther. And on the third day, Pharaoh is celebrating his birthday. And note that he is pardoning he is granting this pardon to his chief baker and cupbearer. Okay, the release of prisoners is something that we know sometimes was practiced on birthdays or at the celebration of the day when someone starts to be a king. Note what happened both when someone finished his term and started his term. Now, in America, they also had pardoning and releasing of people. So it's interesting to see that in the biblical context, and granting a big wish. Okay, we know something somewhat similar, again, a birthday in the New Testament. I'm not an expert on the New Testament, but there is a birthday party mentioned in the New Testament. Anyone remembers which birthday party is mentioned in the New Testament?
Herod.
Right, Herod's birthday, and ends up not so good for John the Baptist.
No.
That's again because on his birthday, Herod is granting the wish that was requested from him, the special wish, because it's his birthday, so he is granting a wish. In that case, that was to kill, execute, take off the head of, okay, John the Baptist. So a little bit about Yom Huledet in and of itself is what we call a construct chain, right? It is a phrase that creates an of relationship between two words. Here, Yom Huledet, Yom is a day, of Huledet, the root is Yod Lamed and Daled, has to do with giving birth. This is essentially a nominal form of the hif or the hufal, okay, one's being born, okay. So it's a day of one's being born, hence Yom Huledet. And this is the day on which Pharaoh was born. Now, interestingly, both cases, both in the Hebrew Bible as well as in the Greek Bible, the birthday parties that are mentioned are not really of Israelite kings or kings who are portrayed positively. We should say that Herod was somewhat of a Jewish king. Again, this is probably not Herod the Great, but his son. I'm not getting into the details of it, but it does not reflect a genuine Hebrew or Israelite concept. As I said, people, when they want to say, birthday party is not a Jewish tradition, they quote the fact that it is only mentioned in the context of Pharaoh. Very interestingly, the post-biblical term for a birthday, especially in the context of kings, is related to the name of the book of Genesis. Okay, what is the meaning of the word Genesis in the book of Genesis?
You mean Bereshit?
In Hebrew, we call the book Bereshit. That is correct. But the word Bereshit and the word Genesis are not a translation of one another. Genesis does not mean in the beginning of. What does the word Genesis mean?
Birth.
Just beginnings.
Right? We have a generator, right? It is something that is causing something, beginning something, creating something, generating something, right? Generating something.
Origin, yeah.
Yeah. So the book of Genesis, births, right? Generation, to generate, comes from that concept, that word. So the post-biblical term related to the Greek is Yom Genusia or Genisia. And you can hear the connection to the word Genesis by the Hellenistic influence of the Greek. So Yom Genusia related to the only book of the Hebrew Bible that actually has this birthday party, the book of Genesis, whose name is related to that concept of generations. And the book of Genesis, and indeed, is the book that outlines the generations of Ve'ele toledot this, toledot that. The Greek names of the Hebrew Bible, of the books of the Hebrew Bible, especially of the Torah, reflect a naming convention that is different than the one we use in Hebrew, a naming convention that is based on rabbinic tradition and deals with the content of these books. Hence, Genesis has to do with generations. Exodus or Exodus has to do with departure, going out on the way. Okay, Leviticus has to do with the Levitical laws, the laws concerning the tribe of Levi. Many of the laws in the book of Leviticus are indeed related to the tribe of Levi, be that the Levites themselves or the priests, who are also Levitical. The book of Numbers, anyone knows what's the Greek name for the book of Numbers?
Ordinal something?
No, but guys, once I tell you, you'll say, oh, I actually know that based on my English. This is how I love it, because if you have good English, Latin and Greek are oftentimes like in just a stretching of a hand only away from your good English.
Cardinal?
So, come again?
It wouldn't be cardinal.
No. But think of the part of math that deals with the features and the characteristics of numbers. How do you call it?
Multiplication.
Multiplication.
No.
Multiply two numbers. But there is a field of math that deals with the characteristics and features of numbers.
Arithmetic.
Oh, come again, you said?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetics, right, arithmetic. And the name for the book of Numbers is arithmoi, numbers in Greek.
Okay.
In Latin, it is numeri, and then in English, numbers. Okay. And last of the 5 books of Moses, we have the book of
Deuteronomy,
which, as you can see, is also Greek. And it's a Greek name that directly translates a Hebrew phrase in the book of Deuteronomy. The Hebrew phrase is Mishteh Torah. Mishteh Torah.
Speaking the Torah.
Mishteh, it's repeating second time. Second has to do with Mishteh and Torah.
second teaching or second law.
Second law, second Torah, right. Second Torah, Mishteh Torah. Deutero, second. Like deuterocanonical, you might have heard that term. And nomos, nomion, like economy.
Okay.
The economy, smart. I don't want to say, yeah, right? It was Clinton who said it's the economy, stupid, right? So I don't want to say stupid. Like Mishneh Torah, Deuteronomion, or Deuteronomy. So Genesis, Yom Huledet, the different conventions of the names of the books of the Torah. Very good. That was enough celebration for one birthday. Okay. By the way, maybe for next year we'll keep the comparison to Akkadian and to Arabic and the concept of birthday.